here we've got all the ingredients we're going to use to make our smoked fish pasta. Obviously some dried pasta, a big spring onion, or you could use 2 medium spring onions, 1 lemon, 1 really big clove of Russian garlic, or you could use smaller cloves of garlic, handful of cherry tomatoes, handful of mushrooms, continental parsley, butter, of course our smoked Spanish mackerel, some homemade pesto, thickened cream, salt and pepper, and butter to cook it all in. So what we're going to do is chop up all the ingredients and start making the sauce. So where my spring onions have got really big in the garden, this is what I do with them, make them into sauces. You can make them into stock. Don't throw them away just because they're really, really big. They still cook down and nice and tender, and they've got great flavour. So just chop this up. Take about that much of them. Now we'll do our mushrooms, just sliced so that they'll cook nice and quickly. The whole idea with this sauce is that we're going to cook it pretty quickly. It's not going to be a big, long, in-depth, several hours effort. Okay. Let's get our garlic as well. This is my homegrown Russian garlic. It takes a long time to grow, and it's this beautiful flavour. You get these really big cloves of garlic. One of the things I really love about it is because I'm lazy and I only have to chop up 1 clove of garlic instead of peeling half a dozen or 8 cloves of Italian garlic, which of course tastes just fantastic as well. It's just more about not wanting to have to chop up so much stuff. Okay, so this is the base of our ingredients. So we've got the garlic, the mushroom and the spring onion. That's what we're going to start our sauce off. Cook down in the butter. So we'll get going with that. Alright, so we've melted a tablespoon of butter in a little fry pan, a non-stick pan. We're going to whack in the garlic, mushrooms and spring onions. We're going to slowly cook them down, brown them a little bit. Just sweat them down so they're nice and soft. I'll put my water on for the pasta, because this dish does not take too long. So with my Spanish mackerel, I've taken the skin off it. It's already smoked, this mackerel. I did it about a week ago, so I need to use it up. Just breaking it up into bite-sized chunks. Because this is already cooked, we're going to put this in at the end, because if we cook it too hard, it'll just go into tiny flakes. You won't see it at all. So we want nice little chunks to have in our pasta. All right, we've got some nice colour and softening happening with our first lot of ingredients. So now it's time to whack in our handful of cherry tomatoes. So just to give you an idea, that's the sort of thing. A little bit of colour on the mushrooms. We don't want to burn anything. Don't want to overcook the garlic especially, because it'll change the flavour of the dish. We'll keep this on a medium heat and slowly cook that down so the tomatoes break up and become part of the sauce. Alright, now our tomatoes are cooked down nicely. Give you a look at the consistency. If you don't have cherry tomatoes, of course you can use a Roma tomato or any other tomato. I just like the cherry tomatoes because they've got that strong flavour and sweetness, and they come out of my garden. So, very convenient. So now I'm going to have some of my homemade pesto. Put 1, 2 generous dessert spoons. There's my pesto. Pesto is just basil, pine nuts, parmesan cheese, olive oil, all blended together, toasted pine nuts. And then you pour olive oil over it, of course lots and lots of basil, and yeah, that it'll keep for a year in the fridge. So when I have a massive crop of basil in the summer, That's what I do with it, make pesto. Alright, so we've got the guts of our sauce now. So we can turn it down even further. We don't want to overcook it. We want it nice and fresh. We're going to add about 100 mils of cream. Any cream will do. I just use this thickened cream, but you can just use normal runny cream. And here we have the basis of our smoked fish pasta. So now I'm just going to put some ground black pepper. I don't put any salt in because the mackerel's got a lot of salt in it from the way I cook it. So I want to make sure not to have too much salt in this dish. So we'll taste at the end. If it needs a little bit of salt, we'll whack some in. That'll probably be right. Generous hit of ground black pepper. Pasta water is just coming up to the boil, so that'll give you an idea of how long this dish has taken. About probably 8 or 9 minutes to get to this stage. And now we've got a beautiful sauce ready to go. So we'll whack that right back onto low because we don't want to keep overcooking it. So this is just water I'm bringing to the boil, slightly salted. We'll cook our pasta till it's al dente, and then we'll, just before it's ready, we'll whack the other ingredients in to the sauce, and then we'll be ready to bring it all together. We've got our pasta on. Water's just coming back to the boil. I had a rapid boil when I put it in. I used about 2/3 of a 500 gram packet, and that'll feed 3 people or 2 extremely hungry divers. Alright, so that won't take very long to cook at all. So now what we'll do is put our smoked fish in, and we're trying not to. This one I must have missed. But yes, we don't want to break it up too much, and we're really just trying to get the heat through this. We'll whack in our parsley as well. Just keep a little bit to serve. So literally with this, we just want to coat the fish in the pasta sauce. Leave it on that low heat because, like I said, it's already all cooked. Let the heat just go right through that fish without really cooking it any further. Alright, pasta's boiling away, which is great. Keep that stirring so it doesn't all stick together. We'll test it in about 3 or 4 minutes. We'll start testing it to make sure we get it nice and al dente. Just before it's ready, we're going to whack in a good hit of lemon out of my garden. Beautiful. These are Eureka lemons, and I think they've got the nicest flavour. Being we're in August now, the tree is just full of lemons, so it's a great way of using them. So don't go crazy with it, but just enough to give it a nice flavour. Alright, so we've just brought our pasta sauce back to the simmer, so it'll be nice and warm. This pasta's probably got a minute or so to go. Just keep testing it all the time to make sure it's not overdone. The worst thing you can do is overcook your pasta. Alright, so our pasta's done now. We'll take it off the water. I don't drain the pasta because a little bit of the pasta water is going to loosen up the sauce. So we just spoon in our, use the tongs to get our pasta in there. Might even do 3 divers. Alright. So we've got all the pasta out. Now we're just going to lightly fold this all in. And then we'll be ready to serve it. Fantastic. Just try not to break up the fish because we want nice chunks of fish in our pasta sauce. Okay. Just garnish with a little bit of the parsley that we've got here. Serve with a lemon wedge. There you go. Smoked fish pasta.